Imagine a boy growing up in a small American town, never dreaming he'd one day lead the most powerful country in the world and help launch humanity into the space age. This is the story of Dwight David Eisenhower, soldier, president, author, leader, and yes, the man who signed the law that created NASA. But before the fame, before the power, and long before the money, Ike was just a kid from Kansas. How Dwight D. Eisenhower became wealthy, the life of the man who created NASA. Before the world called him Ike, before he commanded the largest army the world had ever seen, before he became President of the United States, Dwight David Eisenhower was just a small-town kid who loved football, hated bullies, respected discipline, and believed in doing the right thing, even when it wasn't easy. This is not just the story of how he lived, it's the story of how he rose from a life of financial struggle to global leadership, historical impact, and eventually a stable, comfortable personal fortune. And yes, it's also the story of how he became the man who created NASA, changing the future of humanity with a single signature. Let's start at the beginning. Dwight D. Eisenhower was born on October 14, 1890, in Denison, Texas. His family soon moved to Abilene, Kansas, where he grew up with 5 brothers in a simple 2-story house. They were not wealthy. They weren't even middle class. They lived the kind of life where every penny mattered, every meal was planned, every family member worked. Second chances weren't guaranteed. His father took on tough, exhausting jobs. His mother was deeply religious, peaceful, and incredibly strict, the type of woman who could silence 6 boys with a single look. Young Dwight learned responsibility early. He milked cows, he helped with chores, he sold vegetables. He even worked in a creamery later as a teen to help support the family. And yet, he always had a smile. Friends remembered him as cheerful, competitive, and deeply loyal. The turning point, West Point. For a boy with little money, college seemed impossible, but Eisenhower wanted a life bigger than the dusty roads of Abilene. He applied to West Point, not because it made him rich, military pay was tiny, but because it opened a door to purpose. He entered the U.S. Military Academy in 1911, and there he discovered 2 things. First, he had natural leadership. Second, he had the ability to stay calm when everyone else panicked. These traits would one day save nations. At West Point, he played football, loved strategy, and formed friendships that lasted a lifetime. But financially, he was still broke. Cadets earned almost nothing. The riches would come much later. Early military life, a man with no money but massive potential. After graduating, Eisenhower entered a military world where promotions were slow and pay was low. He spent years stationed in small towns, training soldiers, playing football with troops, and reading military strategy late at night. He married Mamie Dowd, the daughter of a wealthy family. But Eisenhower never used their wealth. He lived off his salary and refused to rely on his in-laws. During these early years, he gained discipline, learned diplomacy, developed a calm, strategic mind, built a reputation for fairness, became known as a soldier soldiers could trust, but financially he remained modest. He lived in military housing, moved constantly, and owned almost nothing. His wealth wouldn't come until fame found him. World War II, the rise of General Eisenhower. Everything changed in 1941. The world was at war. The United States needed strong commanders, men who could handle impossible decisions under unimaginable pressure. Eisenhower was chosen, not because he was the loudest, not because he was the most aggressive, but because he was calm, strategic, humble, and brilliant at coordinating people who disagreed. He became Supreme Commander of Allied forces in Europe. This role pushed him into a new reality. He led millions of troops. He coordinated with Churchill, Roosevelt, and other world leaders. He planned the historic D-Day invasion, the turning point of World War II. Did he get rich from this? No. Generals were paid well, but not extravagantly. What he gained was far more valuable: global respect, a heroic reputation, and a level of leadership that would later turn into real financial opportunities. Returning as a hero, a new kind of fame. When World War II ended, Eisenhower came home not as a soldier, but as a legend. People loved him. Millions trusted him. Political parties begged him to run for president. Books, newspapers, magazines, Everyone wanted Eisenhower. This fame is what eventually led to wealth. For the first time in his life, he had options. The presidency, building stability and salary.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
My fellow citizens, my subject tonight is science in national security.
In 1953, Dwight D. Eisenhower became the 34th President of the United States. As President, he earned $100,000 per year, which today is equivalent to over $1 million per year in buying power. For a man raised in financial struggle, this was life-changing. He finally had steady, meaningful income. He used it to build long-term financial security, support his family, invest modestly, live comfortably, but never excessively. Eisenhower was famously simple. He avoided luxury. He spent wisely. He saved often. Money was finally abundant, but he treated it with humility. Creating NASA, his most futuristic decision. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, shocking the world. America needed a peaceful scientific civilian space program, not a militarized one. Eisenhower made the historic move. In 1958, he signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, officially creating NASA. He didn't build rockets, he didn't design spacecraft, but he created the agency that would one day land humans on the moon. This decision alone shaped the future of exploration, science, and human ambition. And it cemented Eisenhower's legacy not only as a wartime leader, but as the man who opened the door to the stars. After the presidency, how he built real wealth. When Eisenhower left office in 1961, something unexpected happened. He became far wealthier than he ever was in the military or presidency. Here's how. Number 1, book deals worth a fortune. His memoir, Crusade in Europe, became a massive bestseller. His presidential memoirs also sold incredibly well. These book royalties brought in hundreds of thousands of dollars, enough to make Eisenhower a financially comfortable man. Number 2, highly paid speeches. Colleges, conferences, governments. Everyone wanted to hear Eisenhower speak. He was respected, admired, and in high demand. He received top-tier fees for appearances. Number 3, lifetime 5-star general pension. As one of only a handful of 5-star generals in U.S. history, Eisenhower earned one of the most generous military pensions ever created. And number 4, smart investments and simple living. Eisenhower wasn't flashy. He lived on a farm in Gettysburg, wore simple clothes, and avoided unnecessary spending. His philosophy was simple. Live below your means, and you will always live in peace. Eisenhower spent his final years writing, painting, enjoying his farm, visiting old friends, hosting world leaders who still sought his wisdom. He passed away on March 28, 1969, leaving behind a nation transformed, a peaceful global reputation, a legacy of heroic leadership, a stable personal fortune, and the foundations of modern space exploration through NASA. He died respected, admired, and financially secure, a far cry from the poverty he knew as a child in Kansas. Dwight D. Eisenhower didn't chase money. He didn't chase fame. He didn't chase power. He chased responsibility, duty, and service, and because he committed to those values, we remember him today as a liberator, a president, a creator of NASA, and a man who proved that true success comes from purpose, not wealth. His fortune didn't define him. His leadership did, and that leadership changed the world. I learned many things while researching the creator of NASA, and I passed on to you a bit of knowledge about the man who knew how to achieve his goals and left this earth as a hero, a revolutionary. I confess that I got really emotional with this man's life story while I was writing the script for this video. It was truly rewarding to create this tribute to him in video form. I hope you enjoyed it and felt moved as well. If you did, leave your feedback in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I'll see you in the next video I'm working on. Big hug, and God bless you.